I think we are ready to go. All right, so welcome. Make sure I am where I need to be. You ever have one of those days? Like Facebook was down earlier today, and it appears to be down again. Did you guys have that issue earlier today?
And this is actually my first time getting online besides work today.
Yeah. It's acting fine now. Like it started, like I must have tried to reset my password like a million times this afternoon, and I'm like, you know what? This is why I have my own list.
Yeah, that's funny because it did make me log in. Like when I went to my little Facebook icon on my phone, it made me log in just
Yep,
now.
yep, and it was spinning this afternoon. Like it was, you would reset. Like I was like, okay, I guess I got logged out. Maybe they launched something, and then I tried to forget password, and then it just was in this sort of infinite loop. And
Ah,
then finally, I just gave up and I Googled it, and other people on Twitter were complaining about it. So,
oh wow.
yeah. So I don't know if they got hacked or what happened, but it was down for a good 15 minutes at least. It's a good reminder. When Facebook is down, it used to really hurt me. It used to really hurt me. And I think I got hurt the last time, and I was like, you will not own me like
Not
this.
anymore.
You will not own me. I refuse to be owned by you. So I have rectified the ownership situation that was my slave to Facebook. So we are definitely not a slave to Facebook like we used to, but we for sure were. Were you on yesterday?
I was, yes.
Awesome. Did you have any questions? Because there was a few questions that I missed in the chat yesterday, and wanted to
Um,
open it up. Did you have any questions about the workflow or?
Not yet. The one question I did have was the one I can't remember her name, but she asked it about like the price variances with like adult versus child, and
Yep,
that
yep. I
variance.
think,
But other than that, I think everything else was pretty good. I'm playing catch up still. So
and
we've had three deaths in the family,
oh
and
my.
so it's just been like back to back. I'm like, and then my laptop died on me, so I was like, oh my gosh. So yeah, it's been crazy.
Yeah, I am. I'm sorry about your loss,
Thank
but
you,
I'm glad that
thank
you're
you.
still able to join us.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, today, and for those that, let me also drop the Zoom just in case anybody wants to join us in Zoom. I'm going to drop it in our Facebook groups. A bit of a internet hiccup. Let's see if doesn't help that it's raining here too, and so when it rains, that my internet is always squirrely.
Gotcha.
All right. So let's see. Yeah, Facebook crashed again. So let me try one more time, and if not, I'm just going to give up. All right. Let's see. All right. Let me. Today we are going to, all right, let's see if this works. Yeah, it's moving kind of slow. All right, that is the Zoom room there. Let me drop it in one more place in the event that people would like to join us in the Zoom room. All right, Zoom information there. Perfect. All right. So today what we're going to go over is the actual sales page. So your trip sales page and what that looks like, how to move it around. And so we're going to dive into that. So what I've done is I also, this morning, I worked on getting the different flows available in your as funnels. So we do now have three separate funnels that represent the three workflows that we talked about. So I'm going to show you guys the workflows again, and then we're going to dive into actually how to change up the sales pages, customize it your own. You know, my gift to the community is for you all. I literally gave you guys a working Bali destination that you can use as your base template. Change out the images, change it out, and make it your destination. So we're going to talk about how to do that today. So let me actually show you. Before I go there, let me get the demo account open. And I'm going to show you the 3 workflows that we now have available. So hopefully you guys can see my screen.
Not yet.
Nope, not yet. Let me try and share again because I may have not shared my whole desktop. So let me try that again. All right, how about now?
Yes.
Perfect. All right, so, okay, so I was in the middle of publishing this to you all's account, and then I don't like to do things rushed because that is a recipe for lots of mistakes. So I delayed that, and again, we'll get that into your accounts. But what you're going to get in your accounts is step 2, the presentation underneath funnels, along with some other areas of additional workflows for client booking to support this. But primarily, what you're now going to have is you're not going to have these 2. These are sort of my working models, but you're going to have these 3 new funnels. This first funnel is assuming an internal process. You're internally payment processing, and you're going to go. We worked through that yesterday, but this is pretty straightforward. It's going to go sales page, and then I'm going to actually open it up just so you can see. It's got sales page, and it looks like I accidentally deleted the thank you page, but it'll be the sales page, the checkout page, and then you'll go straight into traveler information, and then you'll get a thank you page. So that will be the flow for this flow. And then the alternative flows that we talked about is if you have a group trip and you're working with a supplier and you have a common booking link that you're using with the supplier. So in that situation, we've got a funnel where it's going to go straight to the sales page, and then you're going to go to an interest page like we discussed, and then you're going to go to a landing page that has the link to the booking page, the common booking page. So that's really what this flow is going to do. So they'll click on the secure spot, and that will take you to your vacation booking page or whatever common booking page for your group trip that you have. That was scenario number 2. And then the third scenario was you're building out a separate, maybe custom link for each of your clients. Maybe you're doing an invoice. We're just going to collect their information, and then we're going to send them to just a basic thank you page without a link on it. So same interest form, but this is going to go straight to just the thank you page without a link. So those are the 3 scenarios that we talked about yesterday. Now we've got funnels to match that. I'm going to pause and see if there's any questions on that, because now we're going to actually dive in how to modify the pages. Any questions there? No? Okay. All right. Well, let's get to it. So what I've done is, and when we release the masterclass, you're going to get this template. I'm going to drop this in the chat in the Zoom for those who are with me live, and those who are not, you are going to get this in the masterclass. So you can carry along with this as well. So this is going to be the template that is a template for people. We admit all. Let me take that weight off so there's no waiting room for people in the future. All right, so then this is the link to this template, and you guys know how much I love giving you guys templates to work with and guides and that kind of stuff. So this really is each section of the sales page, and so let's kind of talk through that. If you're new to the system, If you've used any sort of website builder, we're going to start with this one. If you've used any sort of website builder, you're going to be accustomed to sort of this drag and drop. And the technical term is WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. So you actually build the page and you're seeing it. So it doesn't really require any coding. It's just you see it, and this is pretty much the way it's going to look on the page. So what we have here, I'm going to close this right-hand menu. When you open up the funnel, this is the first page. I'm just going to explain this, all of these bits and pieces of the funnel builder. But let's go back and let's go from the top just so we kind of get some context here. All right, so when you go into the funnels, again, all of the funnels, everything that you deal with me is going to be broken up into these 5 steps. And so right now, the presentation, which is really your sales pages associated with your group trips, all of those funnels are going to be here in step 2. So you'll click on the folder and you're going to get these 3 funnels. All of the funnels are going to pretty much operate the same. So making modifications to the funnel, if you guys have already gone through the travel request process and you've modified and created your travel request process inside of the system, working with the pages is going to be just the same, no different. So when you click on it, you're going to get, there's a missing page. I will replace that tonight, but there will be a step 4. But we're going to start with step 1. Each of the funnels will have a step 1, and it's all the same page. So really what we're going to talk about is how this page is broken up and how you modify and personalize it for a trip. Use it for Bali. If you're ever selling Bali, you can use these images, and all of this is available to you. But you're going to go in and anytime you're in a funnel, you always start with the settings. I always like to say you start from the top and you work your way down and make sure that you're clicking all the things that you need to do from a setup perspective. When you first start with the funnel, we always want to set the stage for the funnel, and we do that in settings. And so the first thing that we want to do is you can change the name of the page if you want to change it to something else. You know what? Let me back up. Let me tell you what your first actual step is. If you want to preserve the funnel so that you can use it over and over again, you want to duplicate it. You don't want to use the original. So the first thing to do is to click on these 3 dots here and then click clone. So once you clone it, you're going to have your location, and we're going to clone this, and you can rename it whatever you want. So we're going to call this the travel destination sample for training. So I know that this is training. And then you click confirm. And then the system's going to go ahead and copy all the pages for you, all the structure, all of the stuff behind the scenes that connect the pages together are going to copy as well. You can keep the name if you want, the step number, that's really up to you. But what I recommend is that you keep these pure, like you always duplicate these so you have them as references, and then you always make yourself a copy when it comes to the funnels. So that way, if we make any changes, we're always making changes to the template, and your original won't be messed up or changed, okay? Sometimes this looks like it's not done. I just refresh just to make sure that it's done doing it, or you just wait until it's done spinning. But usually a refresh will clear anything that's going up, and then all of the steps will copy over. So now we have this destination sample for training. It has also 3 steps, so I know that I'm going to copy step 4 because there should be 4 steps in here, but it's really bugging me that I accidentally deleted that. But here, we're going to go in here and you're going to edit it. We're going to start with settings, and we always want to, again, click on settings. That's the first thing that you want to do when you're working with the new funnels, is go to the settings and actually set the name of the path, the main path. We're going to call this destination training sample, so I just know here. And then we're going to select the domain. If you are new and you haven't done an onboarding call, your custom domain is probably not set up. But if you've already been in the system, you should be able to select the domain that was set up on your onboarding call. If for some reason you need to add a domain, you can always do that by clicking here. And then all you need to do at this point is if you've got any tracking code, if you've got any Facebook Pixel, you've got any Google Analytics, you can always add this here at the main settings page. Then you're going to click Save. And that's how you make sure that you have a location to publish your funnel to. So that's one of the critical components. And many times I get people who are like, well, I don't have it. My funnel's not working. We want to make sure that you actually have set up the settings. This is also how you view the main funnel is in this top right-hand corner, the square on the out. So this will visit the funnel, the main funnel. Now what we're going to do is we're going to really take a look at the edit. But before we go to the edit, I always say before you work in a system, make sure that you have everything that you need available for your setup so you can make it pretty easy. So let's talk about what that is. And this is really what this template is intended to do. So, you know, I usually do a before you get started, what you need. And you are going to need graphics. So the first thing that you're going to need is you're going to need some sort of graphics. So we're going to call this, I should have deleted that. I'm going to go back and here we're going to call this the before you get started section here. And then we're going to do the page setup. Page setup. This is going to be that section for you. All right, so before we get started, we need, one of the things that we need are images. Images or videos. So I like video, I like images, I like it all, right? So what do you want to graphically represent your trip? You know, Canva is a great location. We also have a way for you to get like background images in the site. And I'm going to show you that. But certainly you need to plan out what your graphic strategy is going to be. You need a logo. You need let's just sort of take a look at kind of the places that you're going to need pictures for. Let's actually look at the live version of this. So the live version of this is pretty heavy graphics, right? So I'm going to tell you that this big, when you see a big image like this, is going to be a background graphic. Don't really need Canva for that, but these are all backgrounds. You can get this information from, like, you can get this from the site. I'll show you how to like get background images for your destinations and see what's available. But this is a video. I think my graphic artist created this video. But, and it's just made out of still videos. Canva is a great resource to do that. Another place that you're going to need graphics is, this is an activity section, which are the activities that we're doing on the itinerary. This is a good place for you to get graphics as well, like put some graphics. So based on your particular itinerary, what do you want to showcase about your itinerary? That's a graphic opportunity. Each day that we're doing our itinerary, we have graphics here. So I'm a heavy graphic person. We're a very graphical type of industry. So we plan out our graphics for our banner, like our top, and I'm going to talk to you about that structure. And then we make sure that we have graphics for each of the itinerary days. And then we have graphics for the accommodation. So we want to have, I don't have it here, I think I just didn't publish this, but for room categories, we also include graphics for room categories. If we're doing multiple different rooms, we do images of the resort or the hotel, at least one or two graphics there. So we will pull that usually directly from the site, but you really need to have an image plan, so to speak. And I feel like I have a template for that for you guys as well. So I will get that to you here. I'm gonna make myself a note, is an image planner for your sales page. Again, a lot of the graphics, when it comes to these like background graphics, you can get on the, I think we actually probably got this from we are connected to Unsplash and can't remember the other one. Is it Pixabay? Yeah, we're connected to Pixabay and Unsplash. So that's royalty-free graphics that you're going to be able to use. But you do need some level of graphics, right? We're actually working with a client and we're designing her sales page for a group leader. And so she provided graphics of the group leader because it's a birthday. So whatever graphics you need, if you've gone on the destination and you've got video and you've got image, those are the graphics that you want to do. I always say plan your graphics up front. So again, you're not sitting in front of the screen and trying to figure out what do you want to say. Okay. Any questions on graphics? This can be hard for some of you all. It used to be really pretty hard for me too. But now that I know that I've got this sort of standard setup for how we design pictures, I know that the header, we already have a logo. We need a graphic for the hero. We need some graphic for the trip information. We need an itinerary graphic. We need accommodation graphics. So it's pretty standard, the types of graphics that we've got to fill every time we do a sales page. Does that make sense? Hopefully that does. I'm going to also try and keep the chat up. So hold on. I don't think you guys can chat. Let me fix that for you. All right. Okay. So that's the first thing that you need to do is you need to have graphics, have a graphic plan in place. The more you can do that, have that upfront plan, the easier it comes to just sort of plop them in into the sales page. The other thing is that you need sales page content. And what kind of content do you need? Well, you need content for each of these sections. The great thing is, to the extent that I'm giving you a template, you'll actually be able to use ChatGPT to help you build out some content that's pretty appealing to build out the sales page. What do you need to do that? The first thing is you need to have your itinerary. Like, you need to have your daily itinerary defined. And you need to understand who your audience is. And I really like to plan our trips around a theme. When I'm working with my clients, I also want them to be thinking about a trip, not as a sort of one-off trip, but also maybe a collection of group trips that they're going to do around a theme. If you have that, it really also helps to make the sales creation process a lot easier, because you know, this is one of many different types of trips that you're going to be doing of the same type, right? So our theme trips for our travel business is our learning through experience. So we design trips for travel advisors who haven't been to a location to help build signature trips. What's the theme, or what is it that you want to build it around? When you've got a group leader, the theme is the group, right? The leader defines the theme, the reason to get people out of town. What's your reason to get people out of town? The more that you can create a theme around that, the easier it will be to build content around that. So I'm going to put audience/theme, like just have that in the back of your mind in terms of what you're doing. It's going to make your content creation beyond your sales page go a lot easier, but it also definitely helps your sales page content created. And that's pretty much all. You know, let me say this. You need to have what your terms are. Your terms, you need to understand what's included and what's not included, right? What are you including in the trip and what's excluded from the trip? You need to have your pricing. So what's the pricing? Are you doing packages? Are you doing just one price, or, you know, single and double and you only have one package? Are there activities that you're doing? And that really comes with the itinerary. So I'm going to kind of put this underneath here, which is your, activities that are available, either optional or included, your accommodations, like where are you staying, and that's really for your daily itinerary. I like to, these are just a little bit of tips. If you've ever taken any of my group sales page training, I talked to you about the fact that I like to theme out everything. I like to theme out my daily itinerary. I give it a name for that. So day 1 has got a name for it. Day 2, 3, and 4 has got a name, and there's a brief description. Really, I'm going to tell you guys, you know how much I love AI, ChatGPT, to help me really blow all of that out and create it. Because, you know, me and ChatGPT, I think I named my ChatGPT John. Me and John, we are really good friends. And so John knows me, and I've set up some criteria so he really understands. If you guys are using Toby, Toby is getting to know you as well. So Toby is also another good resource for you guys to use to help build this content. You never have to start from scratch. Don't feel like, oh, I don't know what to say on the sales page. If you don't know what to say, if you have your itinerary, your activities, your accommodations, ask Toby, ChatGPT to help you build the sales page content. Okay. So let's go through the sections again. I just kind of want to go through this so you kind of see what we're doing. Each one of these areas is going to be a section that I've outlined inside of this template. So here, the header, section 2, hero, trip introduction, destination highlights, a booking. Each one of these are going to be represented as a section in the page. So this is the hero, and I'm going to actually show you that we've also labeled the name so that you can see it as well. So really, so when I'm talking about terms, we go, you know, this is the daily itinerary section. Here, this is the book now, the first book now banner. This is intended to be your accommodations, and I think I actually have it on our live page. Kind of jumping around, so I think I published it on our live page, the accommodation section. I may not have maybe thought about it and just didn't finish doing it. I guess not. So, but this is intended to be the accommodation section, and then we go straight into additional information. So these are traveler notes, travel insurance, what's specifically excluded, and then we go straight into our terms and policies. It's not to say that you shouldn't have a check mark on your booking page that has them acknowledge it. We also like to let them know up front what the terms and conditions are and what they need to know here as well. And then frequently asked questions. What I also love about ChatGPT is that it's no longer necessary for me to rack my brain about what possibly could my client want. ChatGPT will help you also come up with a set of FAQs for your trip. As long as you have your itinerary and you know what your audience is, it'll help you come up with a set of FAQs that you can include on your site. All right, this is kind of show and tell. Now I'm going to actually show you behind the scenes what this looks like. So each one of these sections inside of this document talks about what the section is. So let's actually take a look at what it looks like in the system. Make sure I'm not missing any questions. Do you guys have any questions? You guys can come off mute if you do and ask me while this comes up. No, all is quiet. All right, so let's take a look at a way for you to see the layers or the sections of a page. Is I just clicked on this layers up here, and then I clicked on page, and you'll see that I've labeled each one of the sections, which also marries the sections that are in the template. So you kind of know what the section is intended for and what you should do in it. So the hero is really in web design, and I'll try not to bore you guys too much with all the particulars, but this is really the first thing that somebody's going to see on a mobile device or on their desktop. So this is the mobile device view. When they're on their phone, this is what they're going to see. And so you always want to have a really powerful call to action, a really powerful statement that's going to get somebody to be like, yep, I'm in. Like, I just right now, I want to book. So, because you're going to have buyers who are like, yeah, I love you. I just want to be where you're at. Let me book now. They don't need to read all that. So you want to give them the quickest path to book now, express interest now. So this is what we do in this hero section. So this hero section doesn't really need to have a lot of text. Don't be verbose here. Really should just be a title, a really nice hook, and a book now button, a button that gives them call to action. This is going to take care of your audience and people who are quick on the draw. They're like, yep, she's dropped something, he's dropped something, and I'm ready to go. So this is what you want to do in this hero. Graphic, pleasing, a statement that really tells the person what the trip is about. This, and when you click on any area in the section, you're going to, when you click on it, you'll see that this is the Hero 2. That's section 2. You can change out the image, and to do that, when you click on any area in inside of the builder, it's going to bring on the right hand side the properties of that section or area that you're in. So you see I clicked on this title, it then changed and it shows image. So what I want to do is I'm going to actually change this background to something else. So I'm going to click on this, and then I'm going to scroll down, and there's a BG, stands for background media. I'm going to click on this little picture here, and then it's going to take us to our media library. And so this is information that you may have uploaded, but as I mentioned, we have access to Unsplash and Pixabay, which is royalty-free imagery that you can use. So I'm going to click on Unsplash, and I'm going to actually type in Bali and see what images are available with Bali. So I'm going to change the background to this background. I don't know that I like that background. I think I like this background. I'm going to change it to this. So I'm going to just double click on it, and it's going to change the background to that. So you can change the backgrounds of sections. You can change the background of pages. You can look for images for your destination. So I just did Bali since that's what we're doing, but I'm picking another country. I was just talking to somebody who's doing a trip to Los Cabos. So Los Cabos is here. So I think Lisa was on yesterday, and one of the things that I think she's designing a trip, her destination wedding is in Los Cabos, and I guess this is a pretty common image for Los Cabos. So, you could pick that image. It doesn't really matter what you pick, but again, you don't have to, particularly these larger images. I would definitely look inside of the system and see if images are available for you for your destination. If not, Canva is also using Pixabay as their royalty-free source. I think they also have Pixels. So if you don't find an image that you like here, I would go to Canva. Pretty much Canva is the standard right now. So I don't really send anybody else to any other location, but you can change out your background image here. This happens to be an image as well. You could design, this is designed in Canva. I know Jam did this in Canva, but this is just using a script font, and then she's uploaded the image and is used this here. So you can do that too, or you could change it out and just use text. That's something that you can do as well. Text is not as sexy as, block and script, but you can switch out, and this could be a video if you want. You could even do a background with a video, like a moving video on as the background, a GIF. Like, there's so many different things that you can do. So that is how you change out this hero and what you can do here. I haven't even gone over all of the different features that you can do. We've got some pre-settings here, but you can, if you want this padding to be something else, you can reset it. But if you leave it pretty much alone, this is what you're going to get. You're going to have a hero image, and you can just swap this out for any destination. Change this image out to Los Cabos or whatever destination that you're doing. So that's pretty simple. All of these sections, these main sections, have some sort of background image associated with it. So my recommendation is you can, for your destination, get destination relevant backgrounds, and I would definitely start inside of the system to do that. If you were looking to change out the backgrounds to be destination specific. Then when you get to this next section here, this is your trip introduction. So really, what did I mention or recommend is that you want to start with content already. So one of the things that I love to do is I'm going to actually show you how I build it in. And I literally I'm going to take this and I'm going to go to ChatGPT. I'm going to go all the way to this here. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to go to ChatGPT because I don't like starting with an empty page. Do you guys like starting with an empty page? And I also don't like coming up with all the titles and the content and all that. Do you guys like doing that? I don't. I really don't. So I'm going to use ChatGPT to help me build this out. I'm going to say, using this sales page structure, create me sales page content for the following itinerary. So I'm going to just I'm going to go to my planner, and I'm going to paste in an itinerary, and I've just pasted in this format. So let me just go grab myself an itinerary really quick. So we have an itinerary already done for Bali. So I'm just going to copy that itinerary right now and paste it in there so it has some context. And then I'm going to show you how it's going to build the page, build the sales page content. And then I'm just going to use that to start with. So here's my itinerary, and then I'm going to hit enter. So I've given it the structure of the sales page. I've given that to you in a template. So you just copy that structure. And then all you got to do is provide the itinerary, provide the start date, the end date, and then you will effectively get a really good starting point for your sales page. So here, hero, right? So it's given me a headline. I would include that headline in my in this section. So this is the hero section. And then this is the introduction, the trip introduction. I would copy that if I liked it, right? So if I don't like it, I'm going to kind of wordsmith it or what have you. But at least I'm starting with some point. It's using my itinerary. I didn't give it an audience. So the more information you give it as for context with ChatGPT, the easier it will be to build out the sales page content. But again, I'm not starting with a blank page. You're not starting with a blank page now, because now you have a sales page template, a structure for how to build the page. You're bringing to the table the itinerary, the start date, what's included and not included, and then having ChatGPT help you with this. So let's say I'm good with this trip introduction. I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to actually put that inside of this trip highlights here. I'm going to actually add that right here. And I'm not a fruit user, so I don't know how to do a paste in an Apple device, so I apologize for that. But I'm just going to paste this, and what I did is I'm going to paste as plain text. Now that's a lot of text, so that's probably not a good place to put that. That's not actually, I'm going to undo that. That's actually should probably be right here. I'm going to put that right here. I'm going to replace this text right here. All right, so this is designed for the discerning traveler. Now, I don't use the word discerning, so I probably wouldn't do this. I'd probably wordsmith some more, but at least it's given me a starting point. I actually take all of this content, I put it in a Word document, and then I just sort of wordsmith it and make it sound like Sunday and the way that I talk, because sometimes ChatGPT can be a little bit too formal. I probably mess with the prompt a little bit so it can be a little bit more more relevant to the way that I speak. But here, even my call to action button, it's giving me some text here. This really then becomes a cut and paste. Like, okay, now I've got this section. What am I going to put in the trip introduction? Now I've got destination highlights. This is a brief. Here, I'm going to put that in this section, right? So this is a section for why I want to do Bali. So I would, I'd put this in the appropriate section that it belongs to. And you literally can, this again is Bali. You guys are doing destinations all over the world. So what you want to do is just make sure that what you want to say about the destination to get somebody to click. If you're selling this group to strangers who don't, the information needs to be compelling enough for them to want to go on the trip. So this is probably one of the most important marketing items that you create for your business when you're selling group trips. This is where I think more time could be spent on not just talking about the logistics, right? Just talking about, okay, it's this room and, I'm giving you 5 days and you're going to get meals, right? Really selling the trip, because oftentimes you don't get the opportunity to talk to the person before they make a decision on where it is. Maybe um, you've you've talked to somebody, and they found it on your site. Maybe it's on your, you're talking to, you've announced that you're doing a trip on your travel request, and they click on the link. You want the sales page to give them enough information as to why they need to see themselves on this trip. So it needs to be more than just logistics. So I would talk about the destination. So this is the reason why we have these additional sections in here. Great tool, Toby, ChatGPT, to help you pull out sort of the sales kind of information to sell the trip, because that's what the sales page does. It sells the trip. That's why it's called a sales page, is because it's supposed to sell the trip without you having to have a discussion about the trip. So you want to have enough information about the trip and why they need to go on this trip. So we care about the logistics information, but we definitely want to sell the trip in our words and imagery and video content. So I'm going to pause and see if there's any questions on here. This really is, doesn't take me as long to build these sales pages as it used to, because again, we now have a template and it's really the same structure. You're going to see the same kind of layout, maybe different colors, different titles, different body content, but the layout's going to be very similar on all of our destination pages. So again, the more that you can standardize, the easier it becomes for you to create these trips. If you're doing 4 trips a year, right, you're going to go to, these 4 different locations. The structure of the page should be the same. The images will be changed out by destination. The title and the highlights will be different, but your terms and your policies are probably going to be the same unless there's something specific about the destination that would change this. So this terms and policy, you probably have the same terms for all of your group trips, so this can become standard. The fact that you are going to be going directly to a supplier for your payment versus processing internally, that's probably going to be standard. So you're going to be sort of doing this sort of repetition in terms of the sales page. So once you learn how to do it, it should just be changing out images, content titles, and links. Really, that's really where I would like to see you guys do. But how you maneuver around how you edit, once you understand that a page has pretty much the same, not pretty much, it literally has the same components. You are dealing with, I'm going to go to this layer so you can kind of understand what you're dealing with here. You're dealing with sections, rows, and columns, and then within a column, an element. Again, you don't have to become a web designer to really learn this. This layers really helps you get, I don't know where to click to get to this button. Click on the button and it'll take you exactly to where you are here. This is this button here. I know that, even working with the layers is not really that important. Just click on where you want to be. Just make sure you click where you want to be, and then the properties for that section or that area is going to come up, and then you can modify the properties. Property modification is going to be pretty similar across elements. And when I say element, an element is simply either text, right? So a headline, a subtext, a paragraph, or a bullet, or you can add a form or a button. You can add, we're not really talking about blogs, so you wouldn't do that, but you can add image sliders, video, images, or FAQs. You can do surveys, you can embed your calendar, you can embed a map if you want, you can add a countdown. I often like to do countdowns when it comes to adding a sense of urgency to a trip. So if I'm doing a promotion and that promotion is only going to be for the next 5 days, I would add a countdown on the top. But really, those are the main elements that you're going to be working with. You're really going to be working with text elements, and those, many of them are already on the page. You're going to be working with buttons, and you're going to be working with images or video. And we've already added the FAQ element. Not a lot of custom code unless you've got a developer that's working with you, or maybe a web designer, or you're savvy yourself and you've got some custom code that you want to do. But most of the time, the elements that you're going to be working with are text and images, right? Text, images, and that's pretty much it. I'm going to pause because that's a lot of information. Is there anything that you guys would like to see or ask about what you can do on a sales page? And then I can answer it. I'm going to also, before you do not forget to save. And you can always tell that you need to save because it's blinking yellow. So always save. And just because you save it doesn't mean that it's available on the internet. You've got to actually publish. So you could be working in draft and it not be published. If you want it to be visible, you actually need to publish. So those are sort of the two main things that I wanted to add. Any questions or comments that you guys want to add?
Sunday, I have a question.
Yeah.
Does the countdown interact with, if you're having a sale and say, for instance, you are giving, say, $500 off a package, and that countdown, does it interact? Say, does it click off? Say, sale ends at midnight. Yep. And the timer goes off. Does that interact and cut off the sale price, or is that just a timer?
You would have to configure it to do that, but it can absolutely do that. So what you just described is, let's say we put a countdown up here. I don't know where did it go? Did I grab it? But it's part of, oh, there it is. That's because she's got a -100 on. I'm going to undo that. I'm going to add the timer on the top. So I'm going to put it right here on the top. Okay. It's white. It's black. So I'm going to change that to white. See, okay. Is that better? You can kind of see it better. All right. So now let's say that this timer is set. When you click on the timer and scroll down, you're going to get some, you see there's an end date here. So let's set this end date for something in the future. And you see where it says expire action? Am I sharing my screen? Do you see that?
Yeah, I can see it. I'm sorry.
Yep.
I'm still at work.
No, okay. So where it says redirect to a URL, you can show and hide an element. So let's say you have an element and this book now is going to go to, like this book now, you've said it's, $500 off. And that's going to take, book now and get $500 off. That's your promotion. And it expires at midnight of, where are we here? So let's go back to here. It's gonna expire, let's say in 20 days, but what we want to do is now hide. You can hide this element on the expire date and then show the alternative button. Does that make sense? Or the alternative section or alternative element or row or whatever. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes.
Yep. So you absolutely, you can control what gets seen, and the best way to do that is through a timer and then showing. You can also expire the whole page, and that's what this is you'll redirect them to a new page. So instead of, this could just be your sales page, and maybe you got a whole bunch of stuff that's on here and you don't want to do it at the element level. You can redirect them to another page that says, sorry, get on my waiting list, you're out of time. Okay. Good question. That's a really good question. Any other questions?
I had a question.
Yeah.
I wasn't quite understanding. You said that it assigns you a domain.
No. You who was that speaking? I always like to know voices.
Hey, Nisha.
Hey, Ganesha. So no, it doesn't assign you a domain. You have to connect your domain. And so once you connect your domain, you have to connect because you can have as many domains. I've got some clients that have an online store. They have, they're coaches. their travel advisors, they're fill in the blank. So they've got all these different domains that they've connected in the system. So you want to just tell the system what funnel this funnel needs to be published to. So you have to assign a domain to a funnel. So that allows us to publish to that particular domain.
Okay.
So do you have a domain, Ganesha? I know we're meeting tomorrow. I don't remember. Do you have a domain?
I don't have a domain yet because I wanted to work on like the website. So I don't really
you
have
need
a website set up.
Well, you will still need a domain. So this is a good conversation because many people who are new to like website, this whole area of the business is that a website it just literally is. Let me just go to Online Travel Boss. This is a website. It's the publication of content. That's what a website is. But the domain is onlinetravelboss.com. It'll be ganesha'stravel.com, whatever the name of your business. Those are two separate assets. The URL you have to purchase from someone, effectively purchase, rent, whatever, because if you don't pay for it, keep your subscription up, they'll take it from you. So you have to buy it. You have to buy it, and you buy it in increments of a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever, right? You pay an annual, or you pay a fee to use this domain. So you're going to get that from GoDaddy, domain.com, whoever you get that from, right? I recommend GoDaddy. We connect seamlessly with GoDaddy. You buy that domain, but then you've got to create content. You need to create website content that gets consumed. These are the web pages that go with it, right? So the funnel that we're doing, those are web pages. And then you've got to publish that content to a domain. So there's two things that you need. You need to get a domain, and I recommend all advisors and everybody who has a business own their own domain, their own asset, because this is yours, right? Nobody else owns Online Travel Boss. Nobody owns my name. So Sunday Gardener, I own that as well. So I also recommend you guys own your name. Your first and last name, particularly if you don't have a common name, because that's the worst thing to do is somebody own your name, right? Like your name.com. Like I would be mortified if somebody owned SundayGardener.com. So you want to procure your domain, and then you've got to create content. When you're new in the business, is it required? Like, do I recommend that you go and build yourself a full site? No. I think it's more important that you build a stranger offer, a funnel that drives people for you to collect email addresses first. If you know that you want to do a group trip, I recommend that you do that before you go expend a lot of effort on building a site first.
So are you saying like a landing page?
Yeah, landing page with an offer. So you have a landing page, but on that landing page needs to be something, and you need to have an offer. So I call it a stranger offer. Many people will call it an opt-in offer, a freebie. You need something that says, I want it. Your clients to say, I want it, so they'll get on your list. So you need to have an exchange. So you need a landing page that gives an offer, that collects email address so that you can start to do that. That to me is the most critical path for a new advisor. I would recommend than doing just a website, because here's the reality. You build it doesn't mean that they will come, right? So you spend a lot of effort mulling over a website, trying to get all the things right, spending money on maybe hiring somebody to do it for you. And unless you are expending money and effort on driving traffic to said website, it's going to sit there and no one's going to see it really. I'm going to let that sink in, because a lot of people are like, no, but that's the reality. It's going to sit there.
Does this software have a stranger offer set up, or I have to do it outside of this? We can absolutely host it. We will be doing training on how to do that in the upcoming months. But we can host your funnel, your stranger offer landing pages, and the whole process that goes with that. We can host it. We can also host your website. If you have if you have WordPress, we can host WordPress.
We can do all of that inside of the system.
Okay.
Okay. So for me, my website that I just showed you, this is where you can do it. You can create a website, multiple pages, just like any other, like if you're using Wix, you're using Squarespace, you're using GoDaddy, we can do all of that functionality inside of the system and keep it all in-house. So that could be something that if you already have that in place.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you.
If you don't have that in place and you already have a website, even though we can host it, I still don't recommend you go and convert everything right away. I'd rather you get the operational funnels built, get your automation, and learn how to use the system, and then do a website migration later. If you have a website, and this is for anybody who already has a travel website, leave it alone. Don't mess with it. Don't get excited. Don't start moving stuff around unless you are just like sick of whoever your vendor is and you're like, I don't care what you say, I need to get off of fill in the blank. Like I've had several clients who are like, I'm sick of fill in the blank and I want to get rid of it. I don't want to use my Wix site anymore. I don't want to use this anymore, and I'm going to get rid of it. So they've spent the time to do it. But any migration of a website is going to take some time, not significant amount of time, but it does take some time. So there's a lot that you've got to do. I recommend you prioritize that latter, but I'm not in the business of telling you how to run your business. So, all right, any other questions? Nope. All right, so really the thing that I wanted to show you is you don't start from a blank page. I mean, when I did the Travel Joy training a couple of years ago, I didn't have you start from a blank page there either. I mentioned that you should have a Google document and you should you should plan out what you want to say on a Google document. And my recommendation is still the same. I like to plan out what we're going to say on a document so that I know what I need to cut and paste. Right? I now, when I did that training a couple of years ago, ChatGPT wasn't around. So I was building all that content by doing research on the line, going to Viator, doing all this stuff. Now ChatGPT's cut that time. I don't have to do all that research online anymore. I use ChatGPT to help me because I already have my itinerary. Now I'm just trying to make it into a sales presentation, have really great titles, really great descriptions that I'm including that's really going to help people. But I'm always starting with the Google document. I literally am starting with the Google document, and I start with this template and I give this to my graphic artist. So I literally give her, the headers we have a standard header and we have standard navigation, but I literally tell her, this is the headline that I want in the hero section. This, she does all the images, but I give her all the paragraph information, and she goes and then she does all the images and all the videos, but I give her the itinerary. She knows the day itinerary. She knows the title of the itinerary and the description for the itinerary. And then she uses this structure to build out the page. If you are in a situation where you're looking to outsource, this is a great thing. Once you build the content in your Google document or wherever you're building it, is to outsource this to a VA and say, hey, here's my build it, here's the template, go build the page, go make it happen, tell me when you're done. All right. So if you're in that situation, this is great stuff to build. Work on the itinerary, figure out what you want, and then have somebody else fill in all the blanks, right? Build it all together. Don't let yourself get frustrated by this, because if you don't geek out off of this stuff, use the template, switch out some backgrounds, make sure that the content makes sense and is going to resonate with your client, and then stick it in. Don't let yourself go down the Canva rabbit hole, because I do that, right? I secretly think that I'm a wonderful graphic designer, and then I spent hours messing around with Canva. And then my graphic artist, she spits it out in like 30 minutes, which took me 3 hours to go and oh, I want this. So don't do it to yourself. This is the cost of creating beautiful graphics is so cheap now compared to what it was even 18 months ago. Fiverr is a great source to build professional logos. Let's say you've got a destination and you've got the structure and you want You don't like any of the backgrounds, you've gone through Canva and you want something special, go outsource it and tell them, listen, I'm going to this place, get me these graphics to go on my web page. Great thing for you to outsource, and really not that expensive either. So I'm gonna leave you with that. Any other questions? Because then I'm gonna just kind of show you the other pages and what we do on the other pages. How does Alicia, you asked, how does the platform look on the home page? I don't know what you mean by that. So can you come off mute, Alicia, and explain to me what you mean by that?
Sure. The platform looks very similar to something that I use already.
Mm-hmm.
And when went out, I think I saw a lot of that there because I started. The platform is on Go High Level.
Yeah, it is. Yep, that's our background.
Yeah, I just really wanted to get more information. And I apologize, I came in late. I had a client call today and very busy yesterday.
Yep. So the difference between Go High Level and here is Go High Level is a blank screen, right? And so they give you all this functionality. What I'm giving you is very specific workflow designed for travel advisors.
So I'm actually under Funnel Gorgeous.
Okay, yep. So again, they've got workflow that's pretty general to marketing, coaching. I don't know, maybe they do. I'm familiar with Funnel Gorgeous. I think they've got a really great product. And so what I've done with Go High Level is really customize it for travel advisors.
Okay, that's what I'm interested in. Because I'm a tinkerer and I figure stuff out. I wanted to see what how you used it. That's why I'm on, because if it would benefit me to move my items to your platform, versus Funnel Gorgeous, and I will. I'm just doing a comparison right now.
Makes sense, and that's fair. So what you may want to do is, Alicia, I think you did sign up for the trial, right?
I did. Well, I tried to sign up for the trial, and it kept trying to charge my card the full price.
It actually does it soft and then refunds because that helps us with fraud. So we don't charge it. We just want to make sure that you're not using a fraudulent card, and you can't use a fake card with us. That really does help. I would actually, and when we go through payments, we talk about that too. How do you guys set that up? So when you're doing a charge, even if it's how to set up Stripe so that you can avoid people who are doing fraudulent transactions on your account, how to avoid that and how to detect that. So that's one of the things that we actually go through in the payment training.
Yeah, because the payment training is the part that's kicking me in my back. So
yes. So we did yesterday, we went over the workflow and kind of what we're going to do. And I can, when you sign up for the trial, you get an onboarding call with me. And so we can talk through kind of what what you've got now and kind of where I feel like you'd have some advantages. Again, I'm not trying to sell you. I definitely want people who want to do what they need to do. But we've got some, right now, the workflow that we're talking through is the group workflow, is group booking. So we're going to have 3 workflows that are supported by the end of this week. One is processing payments internally. Second one is if you have a payment link, custom payment link, common payment link for your group, or if you just do, custom payment links, kind of a workflow for that. So we've built funnels for that. And then we have automation that's going to be able to handle your group trip, the opportunities, and communication throughout the journey.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Awesome. All right. So let's, with the remaining time, let's kind of talk about the rest of the pages in the funnel and kind of what you will expect. So hopefully I'm still sharing my screen. Let's see if I'm sharing the right screen. All right. So again, what did I mention? The thing that you got to remember is always save. And if you are ready to publish, don't forget to publish, but please don't forget to save. I will tell you, I have lost many of works forgetting to save. All right, so we're going to go to the other pages in the funnel so you can see how those work. So this is, again, this particular funnel that we're working with is assuming that you're going to be doing internal processing. So one of the things that we talked about yesterday is that you actually have to have the products already set up. So here, this, I'm going to edit this and just show you the checkout page. So this is the standard kind of, on the left-hand side, this is information that you'll edit about your trip, what's included, the name, the dates, all of that stuff will be, proprietary information that you did. Again, you can change the format of this. This is, again, intended. But what we have here on the right-hand side, it's called an order element. And this is going to be how you collect your clients' payment information, their credit card information, and get them to sign the terms, right? I prefer to have my long, and I'm using Travel Industry Solutions terms and conditions and their travel service agreement, which includes their credit card authorization. So what I have here is my long terms, and you can see that when you go to the booking page here. When you go to book, this is the demo. So you see on the demo, I have the long terms here, not the long terms, but the TSA terms. So this is the travel service agreement from Travel Industry Solutions. So this is customized. This is one of the products that she provides when you sign up for her membership. I don't want them going to another link and looking at it. I want them to be super clear. This is what they're authorizing payment. They're agreeing to the terms, that they've read it. So I choose to do long. You can do short. You can do just the link that we have here. I'm sorry, kind of going. You can have just sort of this short paragraph that takes them there, or the long. I talked to Sheila. Sheila's the owner of Travel Industry Solutions, and she said you can do it either way, but I just like having it right here. I also come from the Travel Joy space, and in Travel Joy, I showed the long terms there, and I liked it, so I just kind of continue that model. So here, what I want to do is kind of show you the order. We're going to actually have to do something on the front end before we get into here, but I'm just going to talk to you about the elements of the order element. This order element, you can have, when you click on it and you go to advanced, this is where you're going to see all of the elements that you can capture about your client here. This is not intended to be the travel profile. So I tend to keep my order forms pretty short in the aligned to how all orders are, right? When you're online and you're doing a payment, they're not asking you for your date of birth, your all the information that we need to collect as a travel advisor on the back end. So I don't need to do that also when I'm trying to collect payment. I want this to be as least sticky as possible and as quick for the user. I don't want them to get aggy while they're giving me their credit card. So I want it to be simple and sweet, but also that protects me as a business owner. So I want to make sure that I collect pertinent information. Full name, email address, phone number. You can also collect, if you want, the zip code. That's one of the things that I do recommend that you turn on. And that may be trying to find out where it is, because I actually like having the zip code be one of the elements that it's actually in my Stripe account as an element. So I'm gonna make myself a note to find where the zip code is, because as a part of like the fraud protection on Stripe, the zip code is one of those characteristics that if you capture it, it'll help do that 3D verification. I don't know if you guys know about sort of how the processing fraud detection is working, but this is the kind of stuff that if you're doing internal processing, when I do the payments training, I talk to you guys about, if you're using Stripe, that you definitely want to get their Radar product, turn that on so that you can protect yourself against fraud as much as you can, right? We can only put in place protection. You know, these fraud people, they're gonna do what they do, but you can just try and put as many barriers to it as possible. So really what I wanted to show you here on this advanced tab is the ability to control what you show on the screen. So I've added country. I'm going to add shipping. I generally don't, because I'm not shipping anything, but I can show shipping and you can see that it can be here. You may want to have shipping if you want to do, again, another validation. When you're collecting the credit card, you can include shipping and you can call it something else. So instead of calling it shipping, you can call it address. All right, so I've changed that here, and then you've got your zip code here. And then, so you can configure what this order element has on it and what you want to collect at the time of order. I definitely want to recommend that you have this terms and condition checkbox here. That's one of the features that's right here at the bottom, enable terms and condition, because this forces somebody to select this tick mark before they can complete the order. So if anybody ever comes back and does a chargeback and says, hey, I didn't authorize this, you've got this notice here that, yeah, you did. You acknowledged it. So you want to have that available to you. And then the things that I have turned off is I have turned off cart mode, product description, and pricing information, because I actually control that at the product level, and I'm going to show you that in a second. So this is pretty much this screen. We've got a footer, we've got a header, and then we've got sort of a summary, sort of like a checkout page summary, and then the ability for the client to order according to. This says dynamic item because you're going to define this on the front end. Don't forget to hit save, and then you've pretty much done that page. So let's go to what you need to do to set up and make sure that your products come in. So I'm not going to go over how to set up products because we actually have gone over that in a separate training. But assuming, I'm going to just show you that we do. Yesterday I kind of showed you that I already had a Bali product set up. So in products, I already have Bali here with my different payment categories, full payment, my pricing plan, single occupancy, double occupancy, all the different variations that I have. I already have that set up. So what I want to do now is I want to tie that product to this trip. So we're going to go into presentation, we're going to go into the sample, and we're going to go to the checkout page, and then we're going to go to products right here, which is on the right hand side, and we're going to add to products, and we're going to select the category product that I'm here. So I'm going to select Bali, and I'm going to select all of the different options that I want available on my checkout page. So I'm going to want the full payment. I'm going to want to have, and then you can overwrite this payment and also what shows up here. So I'm going to call this full payment, and then I'm going to actually put the price here. I don't remember what the price is, but $2 per person here. And then I'm going to click save. And then this payment, this option is now going to be available on the page. And you need to add every variation that you want to be available on your checkout page. So I'm going to just add a payment plan as well. I'm going to add one of the payment plans here. I'm going to do the single occupancy payment plan. I'm going to call this single occupancy. And this could actually pull in, but I like to suppress it. You cannot suppress it, but I suppress it because I like to have it specific. And then I want this actually to say like $250 deposit or due today. And then 4 payments of whatever that's going to be, right? So you can have this say whatever you want it to say, 4 payments of, you know, 6675. And then I'm going to save that. And so now I've got these 2 products that are going to show on the page. Now I I don't remember if I published, so I'm going to just go and publish just so it'll show what I just did. So let me go to publishing. This is just letting you know what this is field, but I'm going to go and go into the page and edit it and publish the page so that we can actually see it live. Now that I've added those products to the page, those will now become options. I'm going to publish this page. And then I'm going to actually go to the live so you can see it. All right, so now when you open it up, now we've got our, I put this here, and then now we're going to go to this page, and now these two options are now available here. Now you notice this says full payment of $29.17 because that's what's actually set up in the system. So I guessed what this payment price, but you obviously want to know what your payment so that this doesn't look inconsistent. And so when a client, if you want to test this, I'm going to also show you a little thing that you can do to run this through testing. Remember yesterday I talked about this sort of testing credit card that you can use. When you set up your checkout and you go to products, you actually do this in settings. You go to settings and you do the payment mode as test. And this way you can actually test that your product is, that it's working the way that you want. So I always recommend that you guys actually run through a test and make sure that it's processing the way that you want and that it's operating and behaving the way that you want. So testing should really be a part of everything that you do when you build out something so your clients don't get, booking pages that don't work, that aren't charging the right thing, because that's the worst thing to do is trying to go back and collect money when you erroneously set up something. So here, I'm going to just go to the live page again, and then you're going to be able to see, we're going to actually be able to run a transaction. So you see the timer is now on here. We're going to book this here, and I'm going to just actually do here, and I'm going to run, and you also see that this says test mode. So obviously when you're ready to go live, you want to make sure that it's no longer in test, but I really do like when I'm in the middle of building something, I like to just test it and make sure. So again, that test credit card is 4242, just 42 straight across to do your testing, and then you can do, any expiration, any CVS code that you want here. And I guess I didn't save that page, but it looks like it's, oh, you know what? This must be a Stripe thing because I think I've set up the Stripe. So the zip code is automatically selecting zip code because that's a setting I have in my Stripe account here, and then I can complete the order. Again, I know that this is in test mode, so it's going to actually process and take you to the next page. Any questions on the order setup?
I just have a general question about kind of payment and with Stripe. Do you include the processing fee for Stripe in your payment plan, or do you kind of just have an advisement of it, or how do you kind of deal with that?
So I include it in my pricing. So when I'm doing my pricing, I mark it up to cover the Stripe costs. Now we are working, I've not finished finalizing this, but there's a vendor that I've talked to, a processing that integrates with the system to do the credit card processing based on the type of credit card and all the rules and all that go with it. So we'll be testing that out next quarter. So absent of that, I just mark it up. That was a long-winded. I like to answer long-winded. I don't know why I can't just answer straight. Sorry, Katisha. Yes, I mark up the price. I'm sorry. You're like, thank you for all that extra, but that's not what I asked for. I'm sorry about that. Yes. Any other questions on so you see it took me, I processed that payment and it took me to the traveler information. So this is where you want to actually gather the details. Now, your client could abandon and they could get sidetracked. They could go out to dinner and they could forget about it. The system is set up to automatically wait a day, and then if we still haven't received this traveler information, it will send an email to remind them to fill it out. Okay. Most people are excited. They just dropped the money. They're mostly gonna go and fill out this traveler information. And I'm gonna go ahead and fill it out. Just I already know the fourth page is not here, so it's not gonna go to a fourth page. But the idea is that you'll go and then you'll get to the thank you page, which is the order page. And I don't know why I deleted it yesterday, this morning, but it's gonna take you to an order page. But let me show you what the order page looks like. So I'll go to another funnel and I'll be sure to make sure to add it to the template. So this is what the confirmation page looks like. So once they've filled out the traveler profile, they'll get an order complete. That will give them a summary of what they've purchased, some instructions. They'll also get an email that says, hey, thank you. It also includes a receipt. If they filled out the traveler profile, it'll also give them their form with their signature on it. So all of this sort of automation kicks up the process. So I'm going to pause and see if there's any questions there. No? Okay. So again, what's happening behind the scenes is we process that payment, and there's a wait. You know what? There isn't a wait, because one of the things that you have to do, we talked about yesterday, is you build your sales page. You've tested it out. What I can tell you is that the payment processed in my test, right? We can look at the order transaction. Sorry. Oh, I'm not in the right one. Sorry, wrong funnel. We can look at the payment and we can look at the transactions. And we can see that $250 processed. I can also view this transaction and see that it went, this is the customer's information, and I can see it. I can also view the receipt that went to the customer. This is the receipt. We have this all set up in the system. This is, stuff in configuration that you have to do, but this is already set up. So this is the receipt that automatically went to the customer. On that side. Now, that's what you do. Tomorrow, we're going to go over, because we're almost out of time today, we're going to go over what you need to do in the automation space to make sure that your group trip is set up. So right now, it's just making sure that your funnel, that you've got all the pages set up the way that you want, it looks the way that you want, and the funnel is working. And so this right here demonstrates that you were able to get an order, it processed in your system, you received the payment, and then if I go to my email, I will also, as the client, because we don't have the automation connected yet, but as the client, I received an email that said, hey, here is, thank you for your purchase. I got, so here's the email that went to me as the client that just says thank you for your purchase. All right, and then a copy of their receipt is available. So this is automatically going to go out to your clients. So that is the presentation setup. Is you really have got the 4 pages that you need to take a look at. Just make sure that everything is set up. And then tomorrow we're going to go through automation, what you need to do to set up the funnel on the automation. So once you actually process a payment, it goes into the sequences that we've got set up, your opportunity and your trip get created, and all of that other stuff on the back end. So there's really 1 or 2 things that you've got to do on the automation, but we'll go through that and kind of walk through kind of what your client's going to experience in each phase of the workflow. All right, we did a lot today. I'm going to open it up for questions. I know that yesterday I missed some questions, so let me just make sure I've not missed any questions today. It was in Facebook, Sandra, but let me, it is in, I thought I put it in Facebook. Did I not hit enter? I did. It was in Facebook. But Sandra, you actually, if you want to, let me give it to you again. Do you see it? It's in the Online Travel Boss Facebook. It's also in our Travel Pro Suite group. I put it in that group as well. So if you want to jump on, Sandra, because you had some questions I saw right when I closed the chat. I saw that you asked some questions yesterday that I missed, and I couldn't go back to it on YouTube. So if you want to join me, or if you can't, if you want to join me in I'll hang on. But is there any other questions or comments or concerns that you guys want to go over? Yeah, absolutely.
So can you set it up for payment plans to be, and you probably said this in this, I'm sorry, automatically deducted at set intervals going forward?
Absolutely. Yep. So are you still seeing my screen?
Yes.
All right, so this particular product, this Bali product that I have set up, what I have are, I have a full payment plan, and then I also have a payment plan that's set up with a $250 deposit and 4 payments that are set up in intervals of monthly. So when somebody purchases 30 days later, after the deposit is paid, it'll automatically charge them $660, $66.75. And you can set that up monthly, bi-weekly, daily, whatever. Customize it. If you want to do it every 14 days, you can do that too. So we can support any billing period that Stripe can support.
Okay.
And
then you mentioned that we can connect this to our, when you were talking about the website, were you saying that we would have to eventually, if we wanted to integrate this with our website, move our existing websites onto this platform, or is there a way to integrate like the funnels and the marketing pages from here into our, because like my current website is hosted on Showit.
Yeah, you absolutely do not have to move your website. I'm not recommending you take on that project right now anyway. So because there's a lot of things that you have to do when you're trying to set up your business and set up all these different workflows. So the way that you integrate with the website is you need links. You need a link to be able to put behind a button, or put behind words, or put behind, or embed a form on your website. Does that make sense? So you're quiet, so I'm gonna give you an example. Give me a second.
Okay.
So what do you want to share your website? What's your website?
It's AJ. Wait, let me type.
Okay, yeah, type it in the chat. You're like, wait a minute, don't put me on the spot like that. So what I'm gonna do is show you.
Yeah, wait, if I try to spell my name, you're gonna be like, what is it?
Love it. All right, got it. All right, so I'm just gonna copy this into here. All right, so this is your website, and so beautiful website. Anja Claire. We've talked before because I love your name.
Ajana Claire.
Ajana Claire. Sorry about that. Thank you. So beautiful site, right? So let's say start your journey, and this you want it to go to right now. It's going to your contact page, but maybe. And it still goes here, but you want to schedule my bonding call. Right now, you've got it here. This right here is an embedded Calendly form. Well, I can give you a link to embed your calendar here as well. So I can eliminate Calendly for you and embed your calendar here. That's how you integrate. So I need to be able to give you code or links so that you can embed it into your site and make it a part of your site. So it's done through, it's called embed code or links.
Okay.
So let me give you another example. So you've got groups, all right? So you've got these great groups that you're going to do these great trips on, and you've got a button. Maybe one of this is a Charleston, and you want to take them to the sales page, a destination funnel, right? That is Charleston, and it would have a button here. Well, you need a link on that button, and it's going to take it to the funnel that we just talked about.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes.
Yep. So all of this color scheme that you have, we can, you can modify the funnel to make sure that this brand and this color and all of this look and feel looks very similar when you're doing your funnel. Because it's, again, we're just doing pages, so we can mirror. Did you do this, or did you have someone do this?
No.
You're like, no. So whoever did it probably gave you the fonts that this represents.
Yeah, I have my brand kit.
You have your brand kit, right?
And the hex codes and everything.
Yep. So all of that can be replicated inside of the site's funnel. So when you're in this, presentation funnel and we're in the sample, one of the things that we didn't go over is here, I'm going to just edit here, is we can establish your fonts. Now I gotta, sorry, it's typography. We can establish your fonts, your text colors, and then you can also change these colors here, and then you can add your own hex codes too.
Okay.
Okay. So we can make sure that that looks the same and operates the same. And again, what you ultimately need is a link. So let's say this was your destination and it's one of the things that you wanted to showcase on your website. What you would do is you want the link. I'm going to show you the link that you're going to want. This top link, the top of the funnel. You always want you don't ever want these individual links. You always want the top of the funnel link. And so this link would go behind any button on your page you want, right?
I gotcha.
That's what we need.
And then when you click on the button, you get to take you through the funnel.
That is correct. That's right. So what I need, what you will ultimately do, Anja Claire, is this AnjaClaireWiseTravel.com. That's your main website. We're going to create a subdomain called maybe trips.AnjaClaireWiseTravel.com. And that's where we're going to publish content so that we're not messing with your primary site. Your site's going to still be here, but when it clicks out, it's going to say trips. Or whatever we want that subdomain to do, because I do need a place to publish the funnel to. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Good question.
Who designed your website?
Beautiful website.
Girl Boss Designer.
Girl Boss Designer.
I think I've seen an ad.
Advisor and creator websites.
Yep.
It can get a little cookie cutter. They're beautiful, but they start to, like, it's an aesthetic. When I see a Girl Boss Designer website, I immediately know that
You know that it's yeah.
I can see who did it, and it's usually Girl Boss Designer. But
Yeah.
They're beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Now, I won't keep you much longer, but I will tell you that you do also have access to templates. So, I'm giving you a standard sort of trip template that has the sections that you need to really account for. But you could always, start with another, like add a step. And let's just say, I'm going to just do this as a sample sales page. And then I'm going to do sample sales page. Like, let's not make this difficult. And I'm going to create a step. And you can use existing. And you know what? You can't do that at the page level. You have to do it at the funnel level. Forget what I said. Forget it. You could, and I don't want you guys to have to do that. I mean, you can always start from a blank funnel and build all of it from scratch, but it's kind of difficult to do that. I'm going to teach you guys how to do that. I'm just not going to teach you how to do it now. So just forget I said that. Just look away. Look away.
Because I thought I saw this.
Yeah.
The client portal, did we talk about that, or
yeah,
that's probably like another training?
It's going to be another training.
Clients would have access to?
Yeah, I not yet. I don't think I've even let you guys. I don't think your accounts even have it because I don't like it yet.
Okay.
So I'm in my demo account.
I was looking for a system that would have a client portal, so that this is like a game changer in terms of.
Yeah, it's not. It's definitely you know, this is not a travel. This is I think somebody mentioned that, you know, this is built on an existing platform, and so the client portal that they have is really designed for coaches who train and show that. So we really need our opportunities to show up there, our trips to show up there. We need, you know, the history, and it's not there yet, like this client portal. So I've not released this feature to people's screens. If it's something that you're interested in playing with, let me know. I don't have a problem doing it. I haven't done any training on it. I haven't done anything with it.
I got it. So
yeah.
Have you thought about like what that would entail? Because I was looking for something where clients would, once they purchase like a trip, they would be able to kind of log in and see like what they purchased and have their itineraries and everything there. And if they want to update a form, or like they can kind of manage their travel within like the portal, and they feel like they have something special that connects them to me that they're not getting if they just book third party.
Yep, I absolutely am thinking about it. However, until this functionality is available where we can customize, like I can customize the dashboard, I can't customize this portal yet. And so until that, and I suspect it's coming, it's just not available yet. So until I can do that and decide what we can then publish, or you guys can decide what you want to publish to the client portal, yes. But right now there's not a lot of stuff that's available in the client portal. So that's why it's not a feature that I'm really highlighting yet, because it's not where we need it to be yet.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I do suspect it's coming.
Like Google Client Portal.
Yeah, it's actually, you guys are using it when you go into the system and you go to the Travel Pro portal. It's literally this kind of functionality that's available. Like when you go home, like if you go to the port, this is what you see. It's really not. That's not what we need. It's not what we as travel advisors need to. Like, we're not really doing courses, right? Like, you know, we're really not doing affiliate earnings. So I know what you just said is what we want. I don't have the ability to publish that or make that available in the client portal yet. So I think from a travel client perspective, it's not where we want it to be. Now, one of the features that is available, I think this is available, is the ability to manage your payment information, your account information. Yeah, see, even the credit card profile, you can't even manage that yet here. So it's just not valuable to us yet. So that's the reason why I haven't launched it to the accounts. You know what I mean? Like, you want your clients to be able to manage their credit card.
Change their payments from, like, day one, they use Visa card A, and they realize for their next payment, they want to change it to Visa card B.
Yep.
Will they have to contact us to change it if it's like on an auto pay?
They will, or you could go inside of Stripe and give them the ability to change it inside of a Stripe link to do that. I will do some training on that. I haven't done it yet, because since this is tightly integrated with Stripe, the information about the transaction, and Stripe has a client portal, you could utilize the Stripe client portal to have them manage their account.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just haven't done. Huh?
Okay. Will we have a training on that? Like,
yes, I haven't done that training yet.
I gotcha.
I've such a mix of you all who are you internally processing? Are you processing your own payments?
I only process my my planning fees. I still do, because I've been posted, so a lot of my my trips are processed, you know, through credit card authorizations paid directly to the supplier.
Yeah, yeah.
But my planning fees are paid direct to me, and sometimes I have like small one-off mini groups that I do outside of my posts, and those I process directly as a tour operator.
Yep, makes sense. So you won't be, if you're processing payment external to the system, you won't even go to a product setup page. You're just going to go straight to a link to get that credit card authorization. And then, either you're going to give them a link to pay it, or you're going to go to collect the credit card number and then process the payment that way.
Today, right.
Yep. Yep.
But eventually.
Yes, as soon as you decide to do the processing internally, then you'll set everything up inside of the system. All right, we are way over, but these are really great questions, and I think how do you make your trips show up on your CRM? So when you say show up on your CRM, I'm not sure I'm completely following you, because once, but I'm gonna try to interpret what you mean by that, Sandra, which is once somebody makes a payment and it's connected to the automation, like I mentioned, let me share my screen again. It's going to drop into the opportunities. So it's going to drop into, so yesterday, where is it? Right here. So yesterday, that booking I did last night, which I did that at 6:09, I made the payment and it showed up here. I'm already a contact in the system, so it didn't add the contact. But if this was a new contact, it would add the contact, the new contact. It would automatically create the opportunity here with the information, and it's now a part of your CRM. You can also click on this, and this will take you directly to the contact record, and that is your contact information. You can also see the history of their payment, how many payments they've made. You can write notes. You can see any appointments that they have. You can write yourself. I will be launching some tasks that you can start tracking for your opportunities and your trips. I have not launched that yet, but that is going to be coming. So automatically, as these trips are getting created in the opportunities, you're going to have some tasks. So one of the features that's available is you can see that there's tasks here. And so we've got some tasks that are here, but I've not really done a lot of training on this, but I will be dedicating a training to this in the future. And I think that was Pam that asked that question. So Pam, hopefully that answers your question. There's a setup step that you're going to have to do for your group trip. We went over that yesterday, and we're going to spend tomorrow's training going over. Now you've got a sales page. How do you make sure that that sales page is now available in the automation to make sure that these opportunities get kicked off and all of this stuff behind the scenes work? There's a couple of things that you need to do to set up the group on the back end. Okay, so we're going to go over that tomorrow. All right. If there are no more questions, I'm gonna call it a night, because it's hopefully you guys. How are you guys liking it so far? Any feedback, thoughts, concerns? Much more talkative today than yesterday. No.
I do enjoy it. I'd like to see how you are getting things to show up on that. Where the opportunities page.
Yep. We're going to deep dive into that tomorrow. So I did a little bit. If you see the replay from yesterday, I actually, from a client perspective, walked you through. So we're going to actually connect this page that we just created today. We're going to connect it to the workflow, set up the group so that new purchases will go into the automation. So that's what we'll go over in detail tomorrow.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, ladies and gentlemen that are watching in the replay, have a great evening, and I will see you same time tomorrow. If you have not already signed up for a free trial, you can do so, and let me get you the link to do that. Let me drop that in the chat here, and you can sign up for a free 14-day trial. Part of that 14-day trial is going to also include a onboarding call with myself and our team. Will get your account set up so that you can at least get started in this process. Although starting with the group trip process is, you can do that. I do, however, recommend that you start with our travel request process and get your travel request set up, because once you get that set up, you're done. And then doing the group trip is just sort of a repetition. So that's what we'll talk about in the onboarding call. Ladies, have a great evening, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Good night.